the biggest thing at all about bombing was the flak. It was absolutely, and it was terrifying. I'll tell you that, it was absolutely terrifying. The night fighters you never see until they hit you. And we was useless really. We had only 303 caliber machine guns, and the Germans had 20mm cannons, and we didn't stand a chance. Never stood a chance. And the thing that they done is that the Germans brought out a simple, unique thing of placing two cannons behind the pilot on the Ju-88 and the M10, and all they used to do was pick you up on the radar, drop down 200 or 300 feet, then come up underneath and go straight for the petrol tank. They first used to go for the actual aircraft, but a lot of those aircrafts had bombs on board, and they'd line up the fighter as well. So what they had done was to come up underneath, and they could see from the fire from the exhaust, the engines, and then a beautiful view of the petrol tank. They used to give it one quick squirt, and the bomber just used to literally blow up in the sky. I mean, literally blow right up in the sky. That's why we've got 30,000 names at Runnymede. We don't know what happened to them.
Did you ever actually see that happen at
Lancaster? I've seen. Well, actually, didn't actually see the fighter hitting the Lanc, but we used to see the bombers blowing up, and we didn't know why. There was no flak, and always there was a huge explosion, and up it went. And it went on. Well, we lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bombers. But the thing that annoyed me, the RAF knew what was going on. They knew what was going on, but not once did they ever warn us about this method of attack. Never. Because before, always expecting was to attack the rear turret. They always went for the rear turret before they got this idea of coming up underneath. And they literally shot down hundreds and hundreds of our bombers. And not once at any briefing did they warn us that we were being attacked from underneath. And it went right on to the end of the war when the Air Ministry admitted that's what the Germans were doing. They never warned us. And the only reason I think they never warned us is because they wanted us to fly straight and level. Because if we'd have known what was happening, we'd have weaved our way right way through. We could at least seen what was coming up underneath us, but we never knew. And we lost thousands of bombers over there. And that went right on to the end of the war. All those boys were lost, yeah.
Do you mind if we talk for a bit about your time before joining the RAF?
Well, I didn't have a lot of time, really. I was only a kid. I told you I joined when I was 16, and I was an apprenticed tailor. Because living in the East End, you had two jobs. You either become a tailor or a cabinet maker. You done the apprentice, and that was the two main employers in the East End, was tailoring and cabinet making. And I was just I worked for a firm called Polikoff's, huge firm. I was apprentice there till I was called up. Well, till I joined the Air Force. And the reason why I joined the Air Force, that really as well, the firm I worked for got badly bombed, and one morning we went to work and there was hardly any bloody factory left. But it was a terrible, terrible time. When you think that in 1943, the average length of time for a bomber crew was 5 trips. But I carried on. I don't know why I carried on. Why I seem to miss it all. But there you are. But I know that the RAF knew about this underneath attack, because I finished my first tour. I done about 13. Actually, I done 39 trips on my first tour. That was because we couldn't bring back a photograph on 9 trips. so they didn't count. And I went as an instructor, instructing aircrew coming back from Canada and America and Rhodesia. They was raw kids, and they had a shock of their life when they come back to England and had to fly on those terrible misty days and nights. We lost a lot of blokes killed through lack of experience, and we had to ladder will fly with them as well. Anyway, after a while, they said you're being posted back to operations, and it's posted me to 77 Squadron at Fort Sutton in Yorkshire. And when I arrived there, the COs, when I arrived, they said the CO wants to see you. So I thought, well, I was a warrant officer then. And I went down to the office, and he asked me to come in the car, and we went out to the Halifax. And Halifax had a big hole in the fuselage underneath, and there was a .5 been placed there. And the CO said, when you go on the bombing raid, you'll be sitting there, and if any aircraft come up underneath, you'll have a good view of the aircraft coming up underneath. So therefore they knew what was going on. And we took it to, I think it was Duisburg, I think. Yeah, took it to Duisburg on the daylight. That was in 14th. That was me on my second tour. And they took it to Duisburg. And it was so bloody cold. And they had a great hole in the bottom of the aircraft. And the cold air was coming through. Not only us, but the pilot and the navigator. That was frozen. And they never used it no more. What they should have done was put a proper turret, enclosed turret, underneath. All they had was a bloody big hole. And all the slipstream used to come through the aircraft. And it was impossible, really, enough to fly with it. Anyway, they never used it no more. Just carried on as we did.
Sorry, you mentioned you've been on raids to Bremen and Wilhelmshaven. Did you actually find out the damage to the submarines you were causing?
Yeah, we actually we done a hell of a lot of damage there, especially at Bremen. Apparently, they really wrecked the submarine base. Well, not bases, where they was actually producing the submarines, and that's why we went back the following night to hit Wilhelmshaven, because they were sinking so many of our ships. It did slow them down a bit, but how much I don't know. But we did make 2 successful raids here, because we could tell that by the photographs we brought back with the actual bombing. As the bombs went, the camera ticked over, and the photo flash was in the fuselage. It was a huge drain pipe, and that was released exactly the same time as the camera clicks over, and it was a big white burst of light lit up the area where the camera was pointing, and you could see all these photo flashes going off on your bombing run, apart from all the bloody aircraft that was on fire going down. Yeah, which was many. Yeah. The thing that they used to kid us, they did kid us. We used to say, we've seen so many bombers going down. They said, no, you never. This is a bloke who's never flown in his life. Said, no, you never. What you see was scarecrows. The Germans were firing up shells to mimic a bomber blowing up. And after the war, they admitted there was no such thing as a scarecrow. All those explosions were actually aircraft blowing up in the sky. And they did used to blow up as well. Yeah, especially with the bomb load on. And I think I was very fortunate to do the first one tour instead of and I went on and done another tour. And I never really got myself in any trouble at all. We used to see them going down. Anyway, we went to Essen, and that is the worst place ever to go. Essen.
Worse than Berlin?
I think it was worse than Berlin, yeah. Worse than Berlin, yeah. The amount of guns there was incredible, and the amount of fighters. But that Berlin, when they done the Berlin raid, they done about 14, but they lost 900 bombers, didn't they, on that period of about 6 weeks. They didn't care. Anyway, on the 14th of the 9th, we went to Munich. And what actually happened, on my squadron, we was losing a lot of aircraft. Even at that period, there was a hell of a lot of aircraft. And two fellas come down from Cambridge, said they were scientists, and said, we've got a new device we're going to put in the turret. And when a German night fighter approaches you from about 600 yards away, you'll get a red light come up in your turret warning you there's a fighter in the vicinity, which was brilliant, because what we could do then was start weaving, not flying planes straight away. Anyway, but what happened, the squadron on the raid previous to Munich, two of our boys were shot down, and apparently the Germans, they went for all these aircraft and must have found this instrument in the rear turret, and they probably got the wavelength of it, and this is what happened. We went to Munich, and we flew, and 10 temps cloud all the way, so we flew on top of the cloud. If a fighter came, we just went straight in the cloud. We was pretty much safe, not from flak, but from the fighter. Anyway, we got to Munich, and the cloud broke, and there was Munich, wide open, beautiful moon, and we did give it an hiding. Apparently Hitler was there giving a little talk. That's why we went there. On the way back, the skipper said, We know our course back home, so we're going to fly 10 temps through the cloud all the way home, so we won't be interrupted by fighters." We went for about 3/4 of an hour through 10 temps cloud, and all of a sudden the cloud broke. And I looked through the turret, I was in the rear turret then, and looked through the turret, and there, from just where my car is, there was a Ju-88 that had been following us through that cloud. And it must have been through their radar. And they opened fired, and we was going, we when you say flow straight and level, you like going up and down as well, Anyway, as we went down, he opened fire, and his cannon shells went just over the top of us. We never hesitated, and we couldn't miss him. It was right bang, you could see his face even. We just opened fire, me in the mid-up, opened fire, he swung over and down he went. And that was one of the luckiest occasions I'd ever known. I'd only done about 6 trips. And then we came back, and that was it. But that's how lucky you had to be. How he missed us, I still don't know. It was point blank range, and his cannon shells went just over the top of us. Yeah.
Do you think maybe he might have been low on fuel?
No, I don't think he was low on fuel. I should imagine when you say you're flying straight and level, you do, but you're going like that, up and down, like sort of with the turbulence of his slipstream. And probably as we went down, he opened fire and missed us, but we never missed. We hit him. We couldn't miss him. He was right banging. Oh, couldn't have been no closer.
So was he shot down?
He went down, yeah. No, we couldn't claim it because we couldn't verify whether he exploded on the ground or not, because we went back in cloud again then.